Mum, I want to travel halfway across the world to ride for a team in Northern England. But son, you're only 17, are you sure? Yes, Mum. And anyway, they've promised me that they'll look after me. It'll be okay. Well, I suppose so, son. Good luck, son. A few weeks later, a phone call across the world is made. How's it going, son? Mum, I've been sacked. But son, you've only had 2 matches. Such is the life of a Speedway rider. It ain't the life for the faint-hearted. Only in Speedway. Well, maybe not. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. We have on my left, although I think he's above me. Are you above me still?
I'm up here, yeah.
We've got Mr. Webby Browne.
Good evening.
I've got this strange gentleman.
Comes in now and again, part-time.
Part-time. Yeah, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, thank you.
Well, okay, so perhaps a good place to start, first of all, actually, is this week, but above all weeks, we need your participation out there because we're going to nail our masts to the
colours to the mast.
That's the word, yes. God, as I said, I thought that's the wrong order. That's a good start, isn't it? We're going to give our predictions for who we think is going to win each of the 3. Not who's going to win each of the 3 leagues, but who we think is going to make the playoffs for each of the 3 leagues, because all bets are off after that, really.
Yes.
We haven't even consulted each other, so
No.
Yeah, a few arguments maybe. So we would love to have your top 4 for the Premiership, the Championship and the National League, and any reasons that you can come up with, real or made up, as to why you chose them. And we'll read them out, because then we can laugh at you at the end of the season. Basically, that
we'll laugh at ourselves at the end of the season.
3 matches, not 2 matches, says Martin.
3 matches, yeah. As I said it, I thought it was 3 matches, but we was talking about Jed List, or I was talking about Jed List, and it's probably a good place to start. Seems a bit harsh, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah. It's a very, very, very early to make a decision like that. So
it's not giving him much chance to acclimatise after coming up. Danny Ayres, of course, has taken his position. Will Danny Ayres do better?
Well,
probably.
Danny Ayres has got the more experience, hasn't he? So
he probably will. So it sort of begs the question: why didn't they just sign Danny Ayres in the first place?
It's like you'd say only in Speedway, isn't it? So
well, I don't think that's true. I think that's a sport, only in sport. Maybe that sort of thing happens in team sports everywhere. It's as I said, it's not for the faint-hearted. But hopefully, I mean, obviously we don't want to see injuries. Of course we don't, but it happens. So the chances are that he'll get signed up by somebody somewhere at some point.
Well, that's the one thing with the sport, isn't it? There's unfortunately an injury or a team down the line, so maybe they'll...
Yeah, as Scott Nichols has found out
absolutely,
straight away before... that's that. I think now would be a great time for us to mention... Sorry, go.
Just before that, I'll just say hello to a few people
that
are on. Crikey, quite a few. Pauline, Paul, William, Brian, Wendy, Dennis, Martin, Dave, and Ben T-Boy Clifton, who says thank you for the T-shirt.
You are welcome. Talking of T-shirt, did you get that T-shirt sorted out?
Done it?
Yeah. You've done it. Thank goodness for that. I can go back down to Perry Bar now.
It's been off. He has messaged me to say thank you.
Okay, that's good.
And Jack and whatever. I think they gambled that Jed might be a good rider in too low an average. Been doing before, sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Does that make sense to you? Yep. Good.
Yes, it does, and I think it's true. It's the Scunthorpe manager has gone on the record as saying that look, he is a talented rider, and we're going to give him as many outings, second halves, and so on as we. Perhaps if he's that talented, he should stick by him. I don't know.
I suppose they don't want him to get an average, do they? That's the thing.
It's a difficult thing. I mean, the guy's come all the way over from Australia, so you feel sorry for him. But by the same token, it's good to see an English rider getting.
It is, yes.
A chance. So swings and roundabouts.
And hello, Margaret.
Hello, Margaret.
Margaret.
Right, yeah, so since we've got a few people on, we'd love your participation today. As we said, we're going to do the predictions, which we'll get straight into in a moment. If people want to participate, how can they do that, Webber?
They can follow us on lots of Facebook pages and groups, Speedway pages, or you can follow us on www.wsrbradio.com.
Does there have to be a pause?
Of course, yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Special.
Fair. You certainly are. So we're going to try something new, little bit different and a little bit new today, as we keep trying to improve the show, which is one of the reasons why we haven't got any guests on tonight, because we're going to be...
No one likes us.
Because nobody wants
to come. Yeah, there was that.
Nobody can be asked.
We're going to put a few videos on as part of the show tonight, and we tried it last week, it didn't work.
No.
But we think we've sorted that problem out, don't you?
This is new, old software I've got now. So.
Okay.
All right.
So hopefully, there you go.
Well, but we will see. As you will see.
And the following video, unfortunately, is only available on the original stream.
Well, there we go. That seemed to work.
It did, yes.
Brilliant. That's from T2 TV Media, which obviously these are all things that are now appearing on YouTube. And if you want to get a copy of that and that match, get in touch with them, and you can buy the whole DVD off them. Right. So yeah, these are some of the things we're going to be doing tonight. So, how can people? We've done how they get in touch, but what we need to do is sharing. Would you like to explain the sharing for us, please?
Oh, yeah. It's quite simple. On the bottom of if you're on Facebook, on the bottom of your screen, there should be, if you're using a mobile, a little button called Share, and that gives you various ways of sharing. You can share to a group, to a page, or to your own timeline. So there you go, easy enough. Simple.
That doesn't count, of course, if you've got one of those old mobiles that's about the size.
No.
of
If you like Mike and you've got a Nokia 3110 or 3210, if you're posh, you've got no chance.
I dream of a 3110. Anyway. Right, shall we get straight in then?
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, hello.
Sorry.
What's going on?
I'm so far ahead of you, you know.
We're going to make a start with our predictions then, shall we?
Okay.
So, shall we go from National League up to...
We can do, yeah.
Do it that way. So, my top 4 predictions for National League, in no particular order, are Kent, Bellevue, Mildenhall and Leicester. I don't... what have you got?
Well, I think Bellevue look pretty solid all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their team crowd here, they're always going to be in and around the mix. Leicester, I think, obviously signing to Alex, and of course the Thompson twins, of course, making
that's the thing.
Making their National League bow as well. Stoke, I think, could potentially be a bit of a surprise packet. They certainly look a lot stronger than they have done in recent seasons. So I think the National League promises to be quite a competitive league. Yeah.
Well, shall we go through some of the teams?
Yep.
So I think we you said Stoke as well, didn't you? We'll have a look at Stoke in a moment. So Bellevue, I think you speak then. Cole Bickley, Leon Flint, of course, we know well. Danny Phillips, Ben Woodhall, Paul Bowen, George Palin and Ben. I don't know an awful lot about Palin and Rathbone. They're both 2-point riders, but the rest of the team looks pretty good. They all look like riders that can improve their averages.
Well, I think moving.
I think he's going to be an out. I think he'll
fly around this.
I think he'll be an out number 1 this year.
Carl Bickley, I think, is a rider who's, whether you could say he hasn't really filled potential quite yet, but he's undoubtedly. But moving there, Paul Bowen's a fairly one that's been around for quite a bit, by all accounts. But I think he'll do well as well. So Bellevue, I think, will definitely be in the mix. I mean, they'll want to make up because they didn't have the best of defences of the Championship or the National League title last year, really.
Yeah, I think, I also think that Kent are going to do very well. They've got a really good looking team. Drew Kemp, of course, Anders Rowe, Jordan Jenkins, Alex Spooner, Rob Ledwith, Nathan Ablett and Daniel.
Well, I mean, I think the big surprise really was Rob Ledwith, wasn't it? And making a comeback after nearly 30 years away from the sport.
That was.
he was riding when I first started watching Speedway. So
yeah.
I mean, I suppose the key thing is that he's probably not going to be expected to be the number one there.
No.
They've clearly got probably the most talked about rider in the league last season in Drew Kemp.
He seems to have started off like a bomb, really.
That's right, yeah. Jordan Jenkins, of course, who was obviously had that injury at Perry Bar early last season. Easy for him as well to come back from that. Yeah, so Dan Gilks as well, who was obviously doing a lot of second halves at Perry Bar last year as well. So yeah, Kent, I think Kent will be
and did a few matches. And
yes,
was getting,
did, yeah.
Really good high scores. So I think on 2 points average,
I think the chances are if Birmingham had still been in the National League, Dan Gilks may well have been at.
I think it was touch and go at Kent or to Russ. I mean, so I don't know, but he's certainly one to watch. And I think possibly it's going to have them. Well, I don't think even possibly. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's going to be the most improved rider by the end of the season, as long as he's injury free, of course.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's almost entirely because of him that I think Kent will do well. But we shall see. Leicester. Ellis Perks, Daniel Hume, Luke Ruddick, Jamie Holder, Kelsey Dugard, Dan Thompson and Joe Thompson.
That's a good.
Yeah.
I do like the look of that Leicester side. I think definitely all the Birmingham fans are going to be keeping a close eye on the Thompson twins to see how they go on. We saw a lot of them last year, albeit not in racing, in meetings, but...
but I mean, I think that they are obviously going to go to the Leicester parent club when they move up, you would have thought. Daniel Hume, of course, is...
can he stay injury-free? That's the only thing with Daniel, because... Yeah, that's been his Achilles heel in his 2-3 years at Birmingham. So.
It has. I don't think. Yeah, he's got to learn. Perhaps.
Sometimes settle for second.
Yeah. I think so. But and that worries me a little bit about Daniel Hume, with the reputation of Leicester as being a very difficult place to take. Yeah. You really have to, as Josh Bates showed in the Ben Fund, you have to really put yourself on the line to get past a little bit. But yeah, for me, the favourites in the National League.
I can't decide between Leicester and Bellevue myself.
Mildenhall. So I chose Mildenhall. I don't think you did.
I just wonder a little bit about they've got a bit of a long tail to it. Gordon Lake, of course, who had a good spell with Birmingham last season, of course.
I think he's got he's shown enough to be able to.
Jason Edwards is the one who impressed me last season, particularly when he rode for Cradley against Birmingham at Perry Bar as well. So
of course, in Danny Ayres, they've got an out-and-out number one there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're going
particularly given that some of the riders there's going to be come across, because it is weakened league, isn't it? With the way the averages work.
Mildenhall are going to be up for it anyway, because they really should have won the league last season. It was really injuries really that cost them at the end of it. Yeah, having really dominated the season all the way through it, to be honest. So
we'll go through the team: Danny Ayres, Jason Edwards, David Wallinger, Charlie Brooks, Sam Beebers, Macaulay Leake, and Elliot Kelly. I know nothing about Elliot Kelly, unfortunately. It's a fairly decent side, so I think top four. We'll carry on and have a look at your pick then, Stoke. Better team than they've had for many a year.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. It's a younger team as well. That's the other one as well.
It wouldn't be difficult, would it?
Wouldn't be difficult, no.
So Tom Perry, Luke Chessel, Connor Coles, Luke Priest, Shelby Rutherford, Joe Alcock, and Corbin Pavitt.
Can I butt in?
Whenever you ever asked.
Dave Twine's gone for National League. Cradley, Kent, Bellevue, Mildenhall.
What was that first one?
Cradley.
Who's that?
Cradley, Kent.
Okay.
Kelvin's gone for National League. Kent, Leicester, Bellevue, Plymouth.
Somebody on the shout box is saying that Mildenhall will finish rock bottom.
I'll have not finish bottom. I'm not so sure they'll finish bottom. I don't think they're as strong as they were last season.
Well, they were the best team by a
mile. They were the best team, really. So,
Stoke, I'm not sure as I agree the top four, because I think Luke Priest, he's had his best days.
He needs other riders really to step up, to be honest.
There's too many ifs and buts there.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Perry's not quite the force he was of old as well, either.
No, I think he's had other issues in his life, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. But as I say, I mean, Stoke, I think, will be a lot closer. I mean, obviously last season was a disaster with Stoke, and the other important thing for Stoke as well is that, by all accounts, towards the end of last season, they seemed to have a lot of the problems they had with the track. The track was a lot better in the closing stages of last season, so...
Tomo has asked us a question. Kicking off with the rules question, in the championship this season, are the rules the same as other years regarding reserve riders where one can take 3 and the other can take 1 of their programme rides? Only if the rules haven't changed, why the heck did Paco not ride Heat 14 at Eastbourne? I think they're the same.
I believe they're the same, unless they've changed it and not told us.
Yeah. As far as why he didn't ride, I don't know. Possibly because there wouldn't have been a lot of point, because the match was over by that point, and so get everybody riding.
Try and get everybody to as many rides as they possibly can.
So I would guess, I don't know whether Lawrence is listening, he usually is, but I would guess that's why, which seems perfectly reasonable to me.
I think so.
Yeah, but yeah. Let's carry on. I think we've gone through all of the...
Oh, sorry.
Yes, go.
Brendan Paris says, would like Wolves to win the Premiership, but it's time for Bellevue. Think Somerset for Champion Kent. It's Brendan.
Somerset for... Okay. I've
got a bit one concern about the Bellevue team, but we'll get to that, I think, when we talk about the...
I also think there's a much stronger side than Somerset. I think there's a standout side in the Premier League, which I guess we'll come to. So
yes.
We'll do that now.
Okay, then.
So, for me... Well, you go first this time. Your top 4.
Well, I think my top 4 would be Sheffield, Leicester, Somerset, and I'm going to make a bit of a surprise call, Redcar.
Interesting. They haven't had the best of starts, have they?
Not the best of starts, but I think there's a lot of potential in that Redcar team.
Well, I've gone almost exactly the same for you, and I've also gone for thinking out of the box type team, and I've gone Edinburgh. So I've gone Leicester, Sheffield, Somerset, and Edinburgh. Yeah. So let's have a wander through everything that is Premier League. I'm just delving through my Speedway star.
You're looking at the grass track page there, weren't you? So you see that go pretty quickly, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, here we go. So just because I got all the lineups here, so. I was tempted to put Birmingham in there, just because I want to, really. But I don't think we're going to finish last, and it wouldn't surprise me if because you don't know with injuries and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
If we got ourselves into the top 4, but we'll come on to all things Birmingham a bit later. So the first of my picks is Leicester. Now, I said I thought was a standout team. I think this is the standout team in the championship. So you've got Scott Nichols.
Yeah.
Come on. Scott Nichols, Richie Worrell, Ryan Douglas, Josh Bates, Ellis Perks, Connor Mountain, and Jack Thomas in reserve. Jack Thomas has already impressed me this year. So
did well last season as well, didn't he? Because when he won that British Under 21 semi-final at Perry Bar, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He
rode
did
really well that night.
Scott Nichols is just... Is he going to clean up, isn't he?
Not so sure about clean up, because I don't think he really cleaned up last season in the Championship, did he, for Peterborough? So
he seems to have started like a house.
He started well. Yeah.
He really does.
Leicester, I think, are going to be very, very strong at home. I'd be very surprised if Leicester got beaten at home this season.
Well, what was the score against Scunthorpe? 62,
something like that. Yeah, so
28, I think it was. I mean,
I think it's really what Leicester needed, to be honest, after so many years of struggling in the top flight.
I think Josh Bates is the thing there. He has started so fast.
He rode in the. Did you ride the Ben Fund? He said he.
Yeah, he rode in the Ben Fund. He was passing.
Yeah,
he was passing people
at Leicester.
Yeah. So I mean, that says it all. But he's broke the track record.
Yeah,
he's fast. Yeah.
Paul says a Swindon and Sheffield to win. No idea about the lower league. Strangely, I think Brummies are a really good outside bet for top 4, says Jack Wright. And Dave Twine says Leicester, Sheffield, Somerset, Berwick.
So I've been pulled up by Tomo. So 10 points behind with 2 heats to go is completely out the meeting. Is there no consolation point then this season either?
Is It's a shield, isn't it?
It's a shield, so I don't think there is a
No.
consolation point. So that's that. And given that the riders they were going to put out in Heat 15 were unbeaten all
Yeah.
night, I think it was. But I mean, I take your point. But I think you do also want to give your riders a go. So yeah, it's probably the way I would have gone if I was making that decision at that point. But obviously you feel different, and that's. I don't know what else to say, really. Your thoughts?
No, I think so. I think it was really done with the benefit of just trying to give everybody as many rides as they can. Because it's going to be a long old season, I think, for Birmingham in there.
I think it is. I think it's going to be an exciting season. But again, we'll come on to that in a moment. Newcastle, neither of us fancied.
No, I'm not sure about
Redcar
Newcastle.
was your thinking out of the box team, so let's have a look. Some familiar names to Birmingham fans in this team, of course. You've got Michael Palmtoft, Charles Wright, Ben Barker, Tom Bacon, Jordan Stewart, Nathan Greaves and Jack Smith.
I think looking at that team, all of those riders have got scope to improve on the starting averages. I mean, Michael Palmtoft is there, top of the average there, 796. I think he's, I saw him a couple of times last season and really
he's an
impressed
exciting
me.
rider,
Yeah,
isn't
he's a good rider to watch, yeah. Tom Bacon, obviously the big question of course with Tom is he's coming back from a bad injury. So
Scored 5 points the other night.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
That's right, yeah.
It's not a bad start for him.
I mean, Nathan Graves as
Ben
well.
Barker's probably not the force he used to
Possibly
be.
not now, but I think
But at this
he's
level?
still good as a side middle order man. Nathan Graves rode very well, I thought, last week at Perry Bar.
Yes.
So
Yes, he did very well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's come on in leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, to be honest.
So he's at 3.99 average. That looks very
and Jack
good.
Smith as well, I think, could improve at that starting average.
Well, I hope so. I'm surprised to see him, 2.73 average at this point. He was one of those riders that you would have been expecting to.
Yeah, and
kick
Charles
on a
Wright
bit.
as well. I think another one who's got the potential to
He's going to be number one
build
by
that
the end of
average.
the year.
Yeah, I think he'll be their number one.
Yeah.
But I think that's, and Jordan Stewart as well. He's impressed me whenever I've seen him. So yeah, I think Redcar could be a very good outside bet purely because I think they've got riders who can improve on what they're starting from.
Scunthorpe, Sheffield, right. So Sheffield, Danny King, again, great number one.
Good number one,
Moving away from, obviously he's been riding for Ipswich in the Championship, who we keep picking in the Championship year after year and never did well. Obviously they've moved up.
Yep.
Ty Proctor, Kyle Howarth, Casper Anderson, Zane Kennedy, Brock Nicol and Drew Kemp.
Well, you said Leicester were the standout team. I think this is the one team that could push them. Sheffield.
I think so. I think
they've got three riders there that are going to be vying for the number one spot in Danny King, Ty Proctor and Carl Howarth.
Drew Kemp
could be
pretty well.
If Drew Kemp continues his progress, they could potentially have 4 8 leaders in that side. Brock Nicol, I think, will do well. Look forward to seeing him ride. Ty Proctor had a good season last year with Workington and McKingsland as well.
That started off quite well.
And it started off quite well, so yeah,
not as well as Leicester.
Possibly not now, but no, Sheffield and Leicester to me, they look the two.
At this point, yeah,
teams with Somerset, I think obviously going to be in the mix as well. I think, but
some good teams actually in this league.
Oh yeah.
Talking of Somerset, we have Rory Schlein, Chris Harris, Nico Cavati, Todd Kurtz, Valentin Grobar. I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Anders Rowe and Henry Atkins.
That's a strong top 4 as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few unknowns. I don't know how Grobar. I don't know much about him.
It's a team of racers as well, which is going to be good for Somerset because they've got a really good racers track.
I don't know a lot about Henry Atkins as well, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, he rode for Plymouth last season, didn't he? And did okay at Birmingham, so.
I'm looking forward to seeing Nico if I get down to Somerset tomorrow. Actually, it's a rider I've always had time for a lovely, exciting style.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Somerset, if you get a chance to go down there, take the opportunity. It's well worth a visit.
It's a lovely track,
lovely area as well. It's it's not too far from the coast. You can have a nice day out down there. So
and it's straight off the M5 as well to get to the
and
track.
some good food as well there as well. And it's well, considering they started off with nothing, they've built it up.
They've done it
really
the right
well.
way, haven't
Yeah.
they? They've done it the right
They've
way.
done it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slightly surprised that they made the decision to drop down, but particularly as, of course, they've not really got that many local derbies compared to what they would have had if they'd stayed in the Premiership.
I guess so, but money is everything, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and that's all of all the Premiership we've gone through. Any more shouts before we start looking? That's the Championship, of course, not the Premiership.
John Turner says, time we had Brandon back. Paul Ibbotson says, Redcar were average at best at Sheffield on Sunday. Calvin says, Sheffield, Kemp will be an outstanding rider. Leicester, strong throughout. Jim says, Broomsticks and Methanol Witches supporters group, find us on Facebook. We'll be around the tracks this season. Good plug.
There you go.
Anton Carlson watching a real future of Swedish Speedway for sure. That's Anton Carlson. Paul says, brilliant track, good racing, referring to Somerset.
Somerset, yeah. It is a good track.
Mm.
I mean, it's a track that I'm obviously going to say that because Birmingham is based on the Somerset track. Yeah, no, Birmingham is based on the Somerset
track. Yeah,
the track's same shape. It's just got slightly shorter straights because we haven't got room to put them any longer. But yeah, it was actually when it was built that they looked at the plans of Somerset and they based the track on the Somerset track. Right, Premiership.
Okay, dokie.
Shall I go first?
You go first, yep.
I've got Swindon, Wolves, Poole and Bellevue. You'll be happy to hear me say.
I'd probably go the same, actually.
Right.
They'd be the same. A lot of people seem to be bigging up Kings Lynn, but I'm not so sure about them.
They've had a poor start, haven't
Robert
they?
Lambert's not had a very good start as well, does he?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when your best rider is getting last places and... Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we all hope he does better because he's the great white.
He had such a good season last year as well.
He's the Ty Woffington of now.
Yeah,
that
makes any sense.
Yeah, makes no sense at all. But yet you understood exactly where I meant. He's the next Ty Woffington is what I meant to say. But okay, so we've got the same teams then. So Bellevue, Max Frick, Dan Bewley, Kenneth Bier, Steve Worrell, Ricky Wells, Dimitri Burge, and I presume that's Jamon Lidsey.
Yeah.
Okay. Who did really well in the Australian Championship, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I was thinking at the time, I wonder if somebody's signing him. Perhaps we should sign him.
Bellevue had already got him.
Yeah, Bellevue had already got him.
Factoring this.
Obviously, the big question mark there is Dan Bewley, but he already seems to have answered.
Yeah, well, there's two question marks for me. There's Dan Bewley and Steve Worrell, because they both had injury-hit seasons last year. And
Steve Worrell didn't exactly
fly when he came back. I wonder whether he came back a little bit too soon, to be honest. But I think when you've got two riders coming back from quite serious injuries,
he didn't ride very well, particularly well for us last Wednesday, did he? So.
No, I mean, Kenneth Bier did well at Bellevue the last time he was there. I think that's a track that suits him, to be honest. I think that's the one thing that will probably work in Dan Bewley and Steve Worrell's favour is that Bellevue, it's not, you wouldn't say it's a particularly difficult track to ride, but it's just flat out all power. So
it must be a nice track as a rider to know. Well, we're here again every week. I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's a strong team all the way.
Yeah, I mean they've been in the mix for the last 4 or 5 seasons, though, haven't they? But they just haven't been able to get over that line and get that title. So. But they'll fancy the chances of having another go again. So Ricky Wells might be a bit of a trump card because I think he had a good season last year. So
Max Frick seems to be ready to take off, doesn't he?
Yes.
In the same way as Jason Doyle all of a sudden did.
Yeah.
And Jamon Lidsey looks a steal on a 4-point average.
And Dimitri Burge did well as well last season, so was particularly popular. Swindon, I think he was at last season, so I think he did well for them. So
Might be my favourites. I know everybody's thinking Poole is the favourites, but
I don't think Poole are favourites. I think they'll be up there, but I'm not so sure they're favourites.
right. We'll go past Ipswich.
Just a quick one. Our
Yeah.
furthest away listener, probably, tonight. Lynette Schlein.
Who?
Lynette Schlein.
Okay.
Listening from
Just
Australia.
wanted to hear you say it. Try to say it again. That's all.
All the way from Oz. Copper.
Oh, good eye.
What time is it there?
Yeah. What time is it in Australia right
Yeah,
now?
let us know, Lynette. What time is it over there?
Nice
I'm
to
sure
have you.
we'd set you live to listen to us, would you? But
Wow.
Brendan says, would have thought Scott Nicholas would be number one at Wolves instead of Masters. Will Forsell return to number one? Says Brendan.
I'm not so sure whether Jakob Torsell will be back, to be honest.
Right. Is that the injuries? You think that Scott Nichols is going to do too good and not let him back in the team, or?
Well, the big question, of course, is if Torsell's not back till June, are Wolves going to be able to fit him back in? Because obviously there'll be new averages out by then, and he'll still be on his...
Does that not depend on what sort of contract Scott Nichols is on? If it's on a 28-day contract, doesn't that protect the...
I don't know what the details of his contract are, to be honest. I mean, I think Jakobs has been quoted in the press as saying he's hoping to be back riding for 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time, which
Right.
is pushing it a little bit, considering the official line is that he's not supposed to be back until June. I know that he's under a lot of pressure from his Polish club to be doing a lot of meetings for them this season. So I'm not sure whether Jakob will be back next season. I don't think Scott Nichols will be there at number one. I know he's looked pretty good so far this season, but I think Sam Masters has moved on another level this season. He rode well at Birmingham last week. Well, I think that's the first time he's ridden there. I might be wrong, but I certainly can't remember seeing him.
It's not a difficult track, is it?
Last season, and in the one race that he had last night in difficult track conditions, he looked pretty quick as well. So,
Yeah, and Rory's mum says it's 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Where you have my... why are you listening to us at 5 o'clock in the morning? I feel honoured, thank you. Right, so we'll have a look at Poole then. It's Jack Holder, Brady Kurtz, Josh Grozoznik, I presume,
Yep.
Nikolai Clint, Richie Worrell, Nico Cavati and Nikolaj Busk Jakobsen.
That's a solid side, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Solid 1 to 7, as you would have expected from Poole, to be honest. Jack Holder, of course, stepping into the mantle of his brother.
And again,
Well, so-
the rider that's looking...
Yeah,
he's ready to start to
he
step up
started
to the
making
next
some good
level.
progress. Brady Kurtz as well. Probably, I don't think Brady Kurtz has really kicked on as much as.
Or Grozoznik, really.
Yeah.
You could say the same for both of those. I think.
Yeah, I think Grozovnik's probably at his level now, sort of third heat leader in the top flights. Nikolai Clint's done well since he's moved down. There, he's popular
The
with
reserves
Poole
look good,
fans.
don't they?
Yeah,
Because
they
I mean,
are, yeah.
Nico did really well last year at Somerset, I think it was.
Yeah, he had a
wasn't
good
it?
he had a good run there. Yeah,
Um,
and Nikolai Busk Jakobsen as well. I thought he rode well last season. So that's.
there or
I
thereabouts.
don't think they're a spectacular Poole team. I think it's certainly not a patch on some of the Poole teams in recent seasons, but I think it'll be. It's
in
solid.
context of
Yeah.
what they're up against. Swindon's an interesting one
Yes.
because we don't know how the track's going to factor into results, whether that's going to hinder them or But
Looking at the pictures that I've seen at the track, I think it's going to provide better racing than the old.
it does look
Swindon
good.
track
It does
did.
look good. Yeah.
Which
I know I used to quite like the old Swindon track, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a bad track.
I think it was probably needed the change. I think for me the straights were a bit too long,
Yeah.
to be honest. So
Any team that starts off with these two words, Jason
Doyle.
Doyle,
yeah.
is gonna, is
Surprised,
gonna.
I must have been. I'm a little bit surprised he came back, to be honest, because I mean he did a lot of meetings last
He
season.
seems to like
riding
in the
UK.
in the UK. Yeah, well done, mate. Troy Batchelor, Musilak, Adam Ellis, David Lampert, Zach Vitanek, and James Shames. First thing that I got to say is I wouldn't fancy filling in their programmes. Because that's
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of Birmingham fans keeping a close eye on Swindon. with their
absolutely,
reserves.
yeah.
So-
It's sort of going to be Birmingham's second
Yeah,
team
I
in a
mean,
way this year.
David Lampard is I think going to be the key man for them though, because we haven't seen him in the UK for 3 or 4 seasons now. How is he going to have improved on when he came back from when he was over here before?
I think Adam Ellis will be a key component as well. Is he going to kick on a little bit more this year?
Yep, Tobias Muslek I think has done well since he's been at Swindon. Troy Batchelor can be a little bit hit and miss sometimes, and of course they have got an out and out number one in.
And you have to looking at that sort of top 7, and then you look at Zach and James Shanes at they're going to have to go some to get out of those reserve spots.
That's a bonus for Swindon, because I think they are going to be reserves all season, I think. So so you're looking at that. That's Wolverhampton. Okay. So
we won't do Wolverhampton. So you have Sam Masters, Rory Schlein, Nick Morris, Scott Nichols, Kyle Howarth, Luke Becker, and Ashley Morris. Mm-hmm. The first thing to say is that when Wolverhampton came to Birmingham, the best rider on the track was Ashley Morris, which has got to have been a surprise to everybody.
I think the big bonus for Ash this season is that, he had a great season last season, but unfortunately he spent quite large bulks of the season riding at number 2, which is always a difficult position to ride in. Looking at the setup of the Wolves team this year, he's going to be the reserve berth for the whole season, as is Luke Becker, who
you would hope.
I think he's definitely going to have to improve his gating. The good thing I would say with Luke is that even in the races when he missed the gate last Wednesday, he was on the pace. He wasn't as if he was tooting round half a lap behind.
But when he missed the gate, he really missed the gate.
He did really miss the gate. Yeah, gating. I don't think is a huge part of the sport over in the States, to be honest. But I thought in the races that he won, and of course I think he got a podium in the last one in the meeting as well. I thought he rode well in those races as well. I think he fancied his chances on the track because, from what I gather, he's very good on the bigger tracks. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fares at Mamba, which of course is traditionally what Americans like. All the Americans from yesteryear always used to relish coming to Monmouth Green because it was so similar to the tracks in California.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a solid enough team.
Yep. But I do think Sam Masters will be Wolves' number 1. I know a lot of people would say Nick Morris, but
I think right actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Of course, Nick's obviously out at the moment with his injury, with his broken scaphoid, but he didn't have the best of seasons for Swindon last year. I think Wolves have been looking at him for a couple of years now, but I think they knew this season that once there was Swindon started putting their team together, it was pretty obvious that Nick wasn't going to be in their team, that Wolves would have a chance to make the move. So,
well, there we go. That's our predictions, for fairly similar predictions.
Oh, yep, absolutely. Well, I think he promises to be an exciting season. So, just a shame really there's not more teams in this Premier, to be honest. But
yes, and I got to be honest. I was looking through the teams, and I think that the league to be in is definitely the Championship. I think that's going to be a good.
I think the Championship's going to be a good league this year.
League, yeah. I think a lot to choose between them all, and I think that there's not a team there that couldn't pull a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, well, we're going to have a look at the results over the past week then. We've got a few videos to show. I can't believe it's taken us 45 minutes to get out of that.
Do you remember that? Remember at the beginning of the show, you gave me this long, massive list of things we're going to do?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got to number 2, I think.
Yeah. And it was on the list. Was it 40?
43, I think. So there's been a few meetings since last time I was going to say we meet, but you wasn't here.
No.
You, the part-timer. But you did go to the David Mason farewell.
I did, yes.
Birmingham 37, Wolverhampton 53. Well, your thoughts first, I think.
I thought it was a good meeting, to be honest. I thought, obviously, we obviously flew into quite a big lead at the start.
We being Wolverhampton, from your point of view, for anybody listening.
I think once the Birmingham Riders had got dialed in, it was fairly close, the scoreline over the last sort of. Over from heat 6 onwards, but I think probably on overall the score was probably a fair reflection of the difference between the two sides. I mean, obviously there's always going to be a difference with one being a top flight side and one being second tier. It's been in the third tier for the last 4 or 5 seasons. But I think looking at it, there was a lot for both sides to be positive about. I mean, as I say, I've already said with the Wolves, from the Wolves side of it, but I think Tobias Thompson looks like
He looks an exciting
really
rider, doesn't he? But he took a couple of heats, I think, and then all of that one heat where unfortunately he came off.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure the right person got excluded there, by the way, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. He's not scared to find that outside line and
absolutely,
put his body on the line and get out there. And then
I think Zach Viner got better as the night went on.
Yeah.
James Shanes was on the pace. I think there's more to come from him.
yes, Carl Newman was possibly a worry.
Carl Newman and Ulrich Ostigard, I think. I mean, they weren't particularly brilliant down at Eastbourne on Saturday either, were they? So, but yeah, I mean, obviously Ulrich Ostigard starts the season at number 1. I don't think he'll finish the season at number 1, but I don't think that's going to... If somebody else steps into the mantle of being a number 1, then that's not going to be a problem.
No, exactly.
Ulrich Ostigard for me is,
and there are some possibilities there, aren't
not
there?
going to be a number 1. I don't think he's a number 1 anymore, if truth be told.
So the one thing that for me about the match was that I decided at that point I'm not going to say anything about any of these riders again, because as the meeting went on, I turned around to my fellow flag marshal and says, Paco doesn't look very good, does he?
Yeah.
And he came out and won his next race. and then I went, Wolverhampton must be getting a bit worried about Luke Becker. And he came out and won his next race. And so that sort of carried on for me through the night. I kept saying, and so I thought, I'm not saying anything else.
Were you mocked up to all the riders in the pit?
At one point, I was thinking, I'm going to say Carl Newman's not doing it. See if that works, but I didn't chance it. There was some great, as you say, Tobias looks inexciting. You can't judge it. It
is difficult to judge on one night.
meeting, but he certainly, looked. And Paco won when he gets out in front. He's certainly fast, and he did well at Eastbourne as well. Which is a surprise, I think.
Yeah, I think he looks like he could be a real crowd pleaser as well, because he really celebrated the that win over Carl. That win in Heat 14 over Carl Houth was really good, because he had to really fight for that win. To be honest.
That was the first corner was brilliant, because Carl Houth tried to come across the front. He didn't quite get there, and there's in Paco's elbow. He's got some lug elbows as well. Came out and gave him a nudge. He coming round the outside of me, and it's nice to see that sort of confidence and aggression, isn't it? So it was a really enjoyable evening.
Can I just say as well,
the
highlight of the night for me, seeing Gary Stead back on the bike.
Yes, that was great.
That was a fantastic thing to see. Yeah.
There's nothing to say about that, really. It just was great. We got an interview from David Mason, haven't we, from the meeting?
We have, yeah. Can I just quickly say, I know there's a lot of new people have joined us.
Okay.
Eric, Anthony,
share.
Gerard,
You get a t-shirt. You get t-shirts.
Anthony, Lawrence, whoever he is, and Paul. Just go back. I just want to go back to this one, because Eric Parsons has said a couple of times now that he reckons that the Premiership is going to be quite boring with Paul winning it again.
Right. Well, you're our Premiership guy.
That was a sigh. That was
going to be. I think boring in terms of repetitive, with the fact that it's going to be the same teams.
7 teams, isn't that, in the league?
That's the one thing that he's 7 teams is not enough for any league, really. Certainly not the top league, if you like, the flagship league in what should be the flagship league in the sport.
It's not much more in the Polish First Division, is it? I think.
Well, not really, no. But I suppose the
Swedish league is.
Well, the only thing we would say that is that more of the top riders are riding over in those leagues.
Yeah.
So
these things, I think, you just got to be patient. These things are cyclical. I think so. The BSB have already said they are working to a plan, and I think this season is more about consolidating what the sport's got, and trying not to lose too many more tracks, which of course unfortunately we already have with Workington not coming back to the tapes. Anyway, we've got 2 videos for you to watch. First one being the David Mason interview from his farewell meeting.
And the following video, unfortunately, is only available on the original stream. Okay.
Okay, so obviously we're a bit pressed for time. So if you want to look at that, it's on the BSBA website, and you can see the full interview.
Yeah.
But interesting.
He did well, didn't he, when he had his 4 laps round?
He did. Oh, yeah.
I think he probably struggled to get out of bed the following morning.
He probably did better than when he rode for us last year, to be honest. But and I didn't realise until afterwards that was Henning Bayer that was going round with him. I obviously rode for Birmingham in 2007 for half a season, replacing
All the Costigars, ironically, yes.
Yes.
Ironically.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the one thing that we didn't mention, that the best rider on the night for the 2 teams, Birmingham versus Wolverhampton, was in fact Ashley Morris.
Yes.
Which has got to bode well for
says a lot for
Birmingham.
Speedo that the rider that you're most happy about is the one that was in the opposition team.
Yeah. Well, it's going to bode well for us, isn't it? Particularly at home. And he looked so sharp from the gate as well. And his times were comparable to, these supposedly better riders around him in his own team. So that was really positive. In fact, all the times were much of a muchness, even when Zach got a couple of wins and Tobias got his win and Paco
like I said,
got his win.
I think there was a lot of positives for both sides Wednesday.
So,
I think
anyway,
maybe wants us to shut up now. So.
Yeah, okay, so this is Heat 12 from Wednesday.
And the following video, unfortunately, is only available on the original stream.
Okay, so I think what we should do is start looking at some of the meetings that, and I'll make a few comments on it. So the first one that we come to is the Premiership Supporters Cup. How's that working, by the way, do we think?
I don't know, to be honest.
Is it working?
Well, I mean, we didn't get as far as getting to 8:14.
You didn't. So you'll have to let us know when you get to one of
so
those. How that actually, does it slow the meeting down? How does that?
I've got to be honest. I don't think it'll last longer than a season.
No, well,
I think there's too many
problems.
Too many problems with it. So, like getting people who haven't got a Twitter account.
Quite a big win for Ipswich against Kings Lynn.
Yeah, that was a real surprise because Ipswich, I think, aren't really that well fancied, are they, by a lot of teams?
No, but when you look at Robert Lambert 2+1,
yeah,
that says it all. So Chris Harris scoring 12+1. He's started off well, hasn't he? Chris Harris normally starts off fairly slow, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Cameron Heaps.
Chris Harris normally starts very slow, to be fair. If you,
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey. Cameron Heaps 11+1, Danny King 10+4, Christian Pijak 7, Richard Lawson 7, Jake Allen 6+1, David Belago 6+1. That's a cricket score, isn't it? Mark. Look at Kingsley, Michael Palmtoft 3, and Robert Lambert 2. Riders that you would expect to do well.
Yeah,
of course, the one thing is that none of them are really used to the Ipswich track, having been out of the league for a few.
Yeah, that's right. So I think Ipswich have. It's probably not as huge pressure on Ipswich because obviously in the last few seasons they've always been fancied to do well in the Championship and they haven't.
They haven't.
Well, they haven't.
We kept picking them, didn't we?
Yes.
So we'll go on to the Friday Championship Shield. Hello.
I forget just before we go to that. Wendy Jane Barnett says, give a mention to the Paul Bits bonus ball if you can. £10 a number to win £250. Several balls still to sell. Contact Lawrence Rogers for info.
Okay, there you go. It's all on the forum as well. It's on the Facebook page as well.
And Alan Peter Welsh said, "Can't we just run it for another hour?" The show.
No.
We've got to the place we need to be, haven't we? So
my wife would
leave them wanting more. Is the adage.
No more.
Right, Redcar 49, Sheffield 39.
Yeah.
Well, you did pick Redcar as one of your teams.
I've got a sneaky suspicion that Redcar might be a bit of a surprise package this season.
Ben Barker 12+1.
Yeah.
He's good at this level, isn't he? Charles Wright 11, Jordan Stewart 8, Michael Palmtoft 7, Tom Bacon, 5+1. That's not a bad start
Not bad
for Tom,
a
is
first
it?
meeting back
Yeah.
after that injury last season. So,
I mean, a really bad injury. I mean, broken back, you don't
nah.
get much worse than that, do you? Sheffield, Carl Howarth, 11, Ty Proctor, 10, Danny King, 7, Brock Nicol, 4+2. Drew Kemp, 3. So, yeah, I mean, Drew Kemp's the thing, isn't it? Because he's...
I think whoever was going to get him was always going to be, highly fancied to do well because of his average.
So, yeah, possibly disappointment for Sheffield, but maybe they... I think Redcar have got enough to win most of their home meetings anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I think they'll do well as I'm certain Redcar.
Hello.
Can I I'm just cherry picking a few questions.
That's no problem.
Alex Wilson said, "What about the famous Glasgow Tigers, lads? How do you think we will go this year?"
A lot of people have picked them to be top
Yeah,
four.
they've for me they've got the out and out number one in the league in Craig Cook. Obviously,
He's got a lot to prove this year.
Well,
hasn't he,
as things stand, of course, he hasn't got a top flight club, has he? So he's not.
So he's going to be wanting to do well to put himself in the shop window.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah, I've got my doubts about Glasgow, to be honest. I think they've got a good number one, but I just wonder whether maybe their tail might wag a bit too much.
I think there's a bit of pressure on that team this year.
I think there's pressure on the club, to be honest, from some of the things that were being said last season about the need to make it pay.
I'm hoping to go and see Glasgow this year. Check out this new track. I've not seen
You're
it.
in a private jet, are you?
Well, we've got a sort of northern tour at Birmingham. We've got 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking of doing a bit of camping.
Did that last time in the Premiership or Championship, I should say.
So Berwick 52, Newcastle 38. Newcastle haven't had a great taste of starts, have they?
They've had a good couple of years, haven't they? Newcastle have sort of struggled a little bit, haven't they?
Steve Worrell 16. Why didn't he do that for us? Anyway, Kevin Doolan 11, Nikolai Jakobsen 9, Jai Etheridge 8. That's not a bad score for Jai, is it? Liam Flint 6+2. Great to see him doing well.
Yeah, he will be.
And we both said, let's put our hands up and both said maybe the Premiership was a year too soon for him.
You might be proving us wrong, Leon.
Yeah, I think
I hope he
might.
does. He's a good lad.
Eastbourne 52, Birmingham 38. From Birmingham's point of view, it could have been worse.
I thought that was a good result, to be honest. And obviously not getting any points, of course, but that was a good effort down there. So I don't think many teams are going to go down to Eastbourne and win.
Not with Edward Kennett. I mean, there's not many people that can beat Edward Kennett around that track.
Definitely on that racetrack.
I mean, Edward Kennett threw 13, Lewis Cut. Got 13. The big surprise for me was Paco Castagna getting 8 points. Ulrich 6, Kyle 4. See, that doesn't sound like a good result for Ulrich, but actually it's not far off his average.
That's right.
So, perhaps signs of improvement there. Leicester 62, Scunthorpe 28. That puts our result into much better perspective and context. There's not a lot to say about that. For Leicester to get 62, I mean, it's quite surprising to see Josh Orty on 10 points, and yet Scunthorpe lost by that cricket score.
Yeah.
I can hear the music. How are you
going on for about 2 minutes now?
I think that's a convenient way of telling you.
Right, so I think we'll just put Newcastle 39, Berwick 51, Sheffield 56, Redcar 34, Kings Lynn 40, Paul 50. Away win at Kings Lynn. Bad start for Kings Lynn. And we had got a couple of more videos, but it doesn't like we're going to have a chance to. We might put them on when the music's rolling at the end. Wow, thank you everybody for your participation. Share. You get a t-shirt. We didn't get the chance to even pick the t-shirt.
No, we'll do another one next week.
We'll do one next week. Where did the time go?
That flew, didn't it? We were worried about whether we would have a show.
Well, yeah, there you go. We will see you next week. Somerset, Birmingham tomorrow. Wolves against who this week?
Peterborough on Thursday. Then the challenge match at Edinburgh on Friday, and then back at Monmore on Monday.
And lots of other matches besides.
So a lot coming on.
Yeah. Enjoy your Speedway. No injuries. Take care.
Good night.